Okay, Rich, what are we playing this week then?
So this week we're going to attempt to complete Castlevania for the NES. This was a game released in 1986 for the Famicom Disk System, but a year later they were able to port it to the NES cartridge for the West. So have you got any experience with the game this time?
I've got it on my little mini NES, obviously, but I haven't really played it too much, so I'm quite interested to see what it's like.
Yeah, should we go for it then?
Let's do it.
Got some great music. This is one of the classic platform games of that era. So it's your general platform game. What you just got there was it upgrades the whip essentially, so it does more damage. And I think it goes a bit further as well. You also get a secondary weapon which appears in that little red box up there when you get one.
Right.
And you throw that by holding up and pressing the fire button.
Gotcha.
And but that uses up the hearts.
So the hearts is your ammo then.
The game has unlimited continues as well, so
you can never die.
yeah. In fact, actually, originally on the Famicom Disk System, you could actually save the game, but obviously they've converted it to cartridge, so it's lost its save capability. The later games in the series started using passwords. Oh, we've got a boss here. Oh, you've got the axe.
Yeah, I know.
So you can just lob an axe at it.
Ah, okay. Like that.
So yeah, this was actually one of the games that made me want to own my own NES back in the day. God, it's been such a long time since I've played this. It's the same with every game we play, really, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
I'm always like, God, it's been a decade or whatever, but it hasn't been quite that long with this. I think I played this a couple of years ago. Yeah, so kind of a cool theme, really, isn't it? Because obviously the game's Japanese, but all of the horror theme is from Universal and Hammer horror movies, really, isn't it? You know, you got all like Dracula and later on you see Frankenstein and all this sort of stuff, and obviously the Mummy and all that.
Spoiler alert.
Was one of the Indiana Jones movies out when this game came out, do you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe whips were sort of popular at the time. Maybe they were in vogue.
They were a thing.
Oh God, this is tiny, this thing, isn't it? I'm feeling very inadequate with this. I've left you in a horrible position here.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, shit. Oh, there's a fucking monkey as well. I didn't think the monkey...
I don't think it's a monkey. I think it's supposed to be the hunchback. You know, the sort of...
What, Quasimodo?
Master.
Oh, Igor.
You don't want to be there. You could have hit him loads of times.
No, never mind. I want to evade more than anything else.
That might be the best idea.
Oh, damn it, he landed in my face. No! No, it's alright.
You're doing alright, you can do it.
No, I'm not. Why did you say it? I hate it when you do that. You do that so often. You always tempt fate.
You look like you were going to do it.
Always do that. Now let me evade him, that's it. Oh.
Oh no.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Don't air it. You're fucking doing it again.
You did it easily there. Easy. Have you seen many Hammer horror movies?
I haven't seen any.
No? Have
No.
you seen any of the Universal ones?
No, I'm not a horror movie fan, am
really watch... you like Aliens.
Sci-fi horror is different, I find. See, sci-fi, I think to myself, well, it can't be real. There's no way there's these things running around. But when you get like...
Frankenstein and Dracula, you're like,
Yeah, but
oh yeah,
Dracula,
they could be real.
You know...
You're not a massive fan of old movies anyway, are you, though?
Not a huge fan.
I went through a phase when I was like a teenager where I just watched Hammer horror movies. I tried to watch all of them, so I thought I'd know them reasonably. I'm not a massive fan of them, apart from just like the original ones with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in them. Oh shit! Oh, this is the bit that...
Just throw loads of boomerangs out.
I'm dead.
I can't reach him. Did I kill him? Did I kill him? No, it killed me. I did kill him.
This level is famously nasty. Yeah, so like I said earlier, this game was originally released on the Famicom Disk System, but apparently when it actually started being developed, they originally envisioned it being a cartridge game, but they sort of halfway through development, the Famicom Disk System was going to be a thing, so they swapped development to that system instead. I'm not sure if that would have resulted in any changes or not, because the whole thing with the Famicom Disk System was that it would allow developers to make larger games, because memory prices for the cartridges were quite expensive. But funnily enough, during the year that it was being created, the Famicom Disk System, and then these games came out, during that time period the memory prices globally had just sort of tanked, so it sort of became a bit pointless by that stage, because they could just release these games on cartridge by the time it was all out, you know.
That boss is nasty.
There was other elements to the Famicom Disk System as well. Obviously, like we said, this game originally had a save game. It's one of the other things with Zelda is obviously they've got to pay for a battery to be put in every cartridge as well, so that increases costs even more. We might be stuck on this level for a long time.
I'm fucked. Fucking. Fuck me.
I don't think we're going to do this today. I hate to say it, Chris.
I think you're right.
I made a mistake with this one.
Nice. Nice. All right, come on. Nice. Okay. No, he's keeping it very clear. Tripler. Get lobbing. Yeah, one hit! Yes! Kill him.
God, that was a nightmare in the end, wasn't it? So the penultimate level probably took us about 2 hours odd to do in the end.
Something like that.
Bad place to be standing.
Yep, terrible place to be standing. Oh no.
Move it.
He's going to jump. Oh. You could have stopwatched that. Classic Rich.
Keep moving. You got to go downstairs, dude. Not that way. I hope this is the...
Twice! I pressed jump and it didn't jump.
Sure you did.
Go on. Go. Is this the strat? Rush it. No.
I think that's the continue point now.
Oh, good.
It's the final boss. Come on, Dracula. I think he fires out 3 shots, but...
That's the way to trick him. Jump just before he spawns and he shoots up. Do you have to hit the head?
Yeah.
Well, the fire thing's useless then.
No, there's multiple parts of it. So he opens his coat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
die.
Oh, where are you going to hit him this time? Hit him in the head does do more damage. Yep. Right, move
Shit.
away. 2 more hits.
Oh, you said 2 more hits.
It
Yes!
Is that it?
Oh yeah, there's sort of like odd names here. Christopher B as Dracula. I think this is actually quite a reasonable ending for 1986 actually. You got some sort of, you got the castle falling apart, you got sort of these bad gag kind of credits.
Simon Belmondo.
So what do you think of the game then in the end?
Well, you know me, I like my platformers. Very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's good music.
Yeah, I like the music. It's got some atmosphere, hasn't
Yeah,
it? It's
I
nice
enjoyed-
horror atmosphere and theme.
Yeah, it was the theming was very nice. It was
Yeah.
very good, and platforming wise, very good platformer. But no, all in all, enjoyable game. Very.
Well, I think
enjoyable
it's
game.
very impressive for 1986. This game. So yeah, I think the platforming fairly intricate for 1986.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of stuff going on. I think it's got good music. I think graphically it looks reasonable.
Yeah.
It's one of those sort of NES games that's got a lot of sort of odd mauve type background.
I don't think we're making enough about the music. Really, the music is actually excellent.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
And then you've got the secondary weapons, which I think that they legitimately do bring some strategy to the game. Oh, come on, you can't.
Okay. So the holy water and the boomerang. Yeah.
The axe made a huge difference, and to get the axe there,
Having
we
said
had to.
that, the holy water was just useful for a couple of bits.
Yeah, the
You
holy
know.
water is useful for some boss fights
And
mainly.
that's it.
The-
So the axe and the time stop. No,
Yes.
that's only useful in certain sections as
The
well.
time spot stop could be very useful in.
I mean,
in
if
some
you could
bits,
go
you
through
know.
that game with that axe, you'd probably be all right.
That final level would have been made much easier with time stop if we'd held on to it. But that's not all there is to it, you know, because the fact is sometimes you don't have the option of having the weapon that you want.
Yeah, but if you
know,
had
so
less
you've got to
weapons,
make
then
do
you'd
with-
be all right, wouldn't you? Because
Yeah.
you'd have less choice, you'd get it more often.
Yeah, but
I'm
that would
thinking-
be taking choice away from the player. The player has to learn which the best weapons are and where to use them.
True, but as soon as they have learnt that, then you stay away completely from the other weapons, don't you?
unless you don't have a choice. But
yeah,
a
unless
lot
you
of the time-
need it.
A lot of the time you don't have a choice. And we're talking about 1986 here, you know, where a lot of these games just don't have any kind of system like this game. A lot of these arcade action platforming games don't have any kind of system, whereas this tries to do something with the secondary weapons. And I think that it does ultimately work to add a slight more layer of
I'll agree with that.
another layer of
A
thinking to the
slight
game.
more layer, yeah.
Obviously, it is a tough game by the standards of today, but I was thinking about this the other day, and I think from 1986's standards, this isn't actually amongst the hardest games.
No.
I think a lot of games on the Spectrum and Commodore are probably harder than this, but I mean, for the NES, it's pretty tricky. So I wouldn't even use the hardness against it.
Having said that, I mean, you think of the original Mario Brothers, that was nowhere near as difficult as this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, polar opposites. So,
Yeah. Ghosts and Goblins is harder, I think, personally. On the Commodore 64, you'd have Green Beret out at this time, which is a much shorter game, probably much harder than this as well, actually.
yes, it is.
Green Beret, because of how much luck is involved, at least with the Commodore 64 version.
Yeah, think of that. What's it level where we're walking across trying to dodge the knights, and then that's every level in Green Beret.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
It is.
So I think that this is a first-rate game in all aspects. So I think people know that I'm already going to give it a complete 5 out of 5 score because it is one of the best platform games. It's a series that has done well. It's been massively successful. It's spawned loads of fantastic games, and it's a series that has a lot of personality. I think it has its own personality, merging sort of Japanese gaming sensibilities with sort of Western horror movies and such. So, what did you think of the game then? This was the first time you played this one, isn't it?
Yeah. So, for all the reasons you gave there, I was going to give it a 4 out of 5. But then when we got to the section where you're talking about what it's actually produced afterwards, you cannot take that away from that.
Yeah.
Those games are some of the best games that have ever been made on their respective consoles. It was a start of something incredible.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm going to give it the 5 out of 5 as well.
Okay, guys, that was Castlevania for this week. Really enjoyable game.
Took a few hours longer than we thought it would.
Yeah, quite a few hours. I was thinking to be out of here by midday, go and get lunch, but you never mind. Anyway, we'll see you later. Take care, guys.
See ya.